Hello everyone, welcome to Topper IS. So as part of our daily series, today also we will look into few of the news that was taken from PIB as well as Hindu. Okay, so let's get started then. So the first one is with respect to freight smart cities. So a smart city is a city which is smart with respect to freight movement. Freight movement, that is movement of goods and commodities within the cities. So Commerce Ministry's logistic division has come out with a plan for freight smart cities. So it has launched a portal and a handbook containing almost 14 key measures that would enhance the urban freight system. So enhancing, you mean improving the efficiency of the urban freight and create an opportunity for reduction in the logistic cost. So question comes, what is the necessity of planning for freight smart cities and all? You see, growing urbanization, economy is also growing, and it only means parallelly different economic activities grow. So e-commerce business is also on seeing a growth, right? So increasing urbanization demand and all. So you equally see that freight movement within the city is going to increase. So this leads to increasing congestion, noise and sound pollution in the Indian cities, which is a menace, which is not good for public health and as well as not good for local economy because of congestion and all the environmental issues. So to overcome that, a freight smart cities plan has been suggested. And another fact which is stated is, see, demand for urban freight is expected to grow by 140% over the next 10 years. So consequence of urbanization and economic growth. And final mile freight movement in Indian cities is currently responsible for 50% of total logistic cost in India's growing e-commerce supply chain. So last mile freight movement almost accounts for 50% of logistic cost. So if you reduce this cost, obviously this will going to significantly enhance the profit that the companies earn. Okay, so that is what improving city logistic would enable efficient freight movement and bring down the logistic cost, boosting all the sectors of the economy. So keeping in all these steps, urbanization, economic growth, and consequently you are going to see increase in freight demand. So because of that, various issues, noise pollution, congestion, and to cut down the logistic cost, there is a suggestion for freight smart cities, cities which are smart with respect to delivery of goods and commodities. Okay. Then next one is with respect to stock limits on pulses. Okay, see, government has issued a order, stock limits and movement restrictions on specified foodstuffs amendment order 2021. So under this order, government has imposed stock limits on pulses, and this will be applicable to wholesalers, retailers, millers and importers. So you there is a limit fixed. Beyond that you cannot hold the pulses. Okay, so and this action is consistent with series of action taken by government of India to see that prices of pulses do not go beyond the reach of a common man. So over 3-4 years, government has been very cautious to see that pulses price do not go beyond a point. So a number of things have been done, entering into agreement with foreign nations also, and incentivizing domestic production of pulses also under PM Asha and all, MSP and all those stuff. So recently there was a scene that pulses prices were rising. So as a response to that, government has imposed the stock limits. Okay, and additional information like in the past 6 years, highest ever total production of major pulses amounting to 255 lakh metric tons took place in 2021, with gram and moong dal particularly breaking the all of their past records of production. So main thing is pulses production has increased in India recently. Okay, almost about 255 lakh metric tons. Then another thing the government has done with respect to pulses is it has come out with a strategies to how can we regulate various prices of essential commodities like pulses. See, as a part of this strategy, they have set up price monitoring centers. So price monitoring centers have been set up under price monitoring scheme. Okay, so as part of the price monitoring scheme, central government assist state or union UTs government in setting up price monitoring centers, and recently there have been increase in the number of price monitoring centers. Okay, almost up to 114 centers in 2020. So this step will ensure that reporting of data on prices from all across the country becomes more representative. So you're tracking the prices of the pulses. So that's why the name itself is explanatory, price monitoring scheme, and you're setting price monitoring centers. So that is also one of the steps taken by government to keep track of price of the pulses. Then next one is with respect to India joining OECD or G20 inclusive framework tax deal. So here basically you should know that base erosion and profit shifting. This is the meaning of this is why this base erosion and profit shifting, in the sense, see, MNCs, multinational companies, so have their bases in different countries. So what they do is when the wherever the country in particular country, when there is a tax rate is too much, they will shift their profit to in those countries where tax is very less or almost there is a low tax. So this is a significant loss for the uh, countries like countries. Okay, India is also significant loses significantly because of such strategies, because emerging economy, it needs revenue, government needs revenue to spend on various things. Okay, so this is a base erosion and profit shifting is a issue, particularly even for emerging economies. Okay, so that's why we have base erosion and profit shifting framework, which has been brought out by OECD. Okay, so recently they have come out with a statement containing how do we outlining a consensus solution to address the tax challenges arising from the digitalization of economy. So digitalization of economy is going on, so obviously tax challenges will arise. So countries will be companies will be operating from n number of nations also, these all things will be there. Okay, so the proposed solution consists of two components. So pillar one they call it, so this will be related to reallocation of additional share of profit to the market jurisdiction. So whatever additional share you are getting, you have to, how do you uh, share it to the market jurisdiction from the country where you are exactly earning. Okay, to that aspect. And second part is consisting of minimum tax and subject to tax rules. So how, what is the minimum tax and what is the nature of tax rules and all, so that is under pillar 2. So what is more important is remember what is base erosion and profit shifting. So remember the term inclusive framework tax deal under OECD. Okay, remember that is important. Pillar 1, pillar 2, not that important, but remember these basic headings. So base erosion and profit shifting, as I said, refers to corporate tax planning strategies used by multinationals, MNC companies, to shift profits from higher tax jurisdiction to lower tax jurisdiction. Okay, where they can pay very less amount of tax, thus eroding the tax base of the higher tax jurisdiction. Yes, so moment you are shifting your profit somewhere else, obviously you are paying less here. So those countries are deprived of higher revenue. So tax base is eroded. So OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, defines BEPS, base erosion and profit shifting, as strategies as exploiting gaps and mismatches in the tax rules. So obviously higher tax rate, lower tax rate, all those stuff. So coming to OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, is an intergovernmental economic organization consisting of 38 member countries. Actually, it was founded in 1961 to stimulate economic progress and world trade. So it is a forum of countries which describe themselves to be, committed to democracy, market economy, providing platform to compare policy experiences and seek answers to common problems, identify good practices, and coordinate domestic and international policies of its members. So it has a number of functions. So remember, OECD 1961 has 38 members. Okay. So next one, small thing with respect to MSMEs. So what has been done is retail sale retail and wholesale, okay, trades, they have been also now considered as MSMEs, micro small medium enterprises. So we have a definition for MSMEs. So actually a definition of MSMEs is based on investment and turnover, taking into account that. So MSME is a one category. So enterprises within that, now you are even considering retail and wholesale. So retail and wholesales are also now considered as MSMEs. So Ministry of MSME announced revised guidelines for MSMEs with the inclusion of retail and wholesale trades. So these revised guidelines significance is it will benefit 2.5 crore retail and wholesale traders. So how will it benefit? It will benefit because as part of you have a priority sector lending under RBI. So under priority sector lending, RBI lends to MSMEs. So now retail and wholesale traders can also avail the loan benefit, right? So that is how they will be benefited, and they will also be now allowed to register on Udyam registration portal. So portal where MSMEs get registered. Okay, so these benefits they will be availing. So priority sector lending. So it is an important role given by the RBI to the banks for providing a specified portion of the bank lending to a few specific sectors. So RBI says a particular portion of amount has to be lent to particular specific sectors. So what all kind of sectors? Like agriculture and allied activities, micro and small enterprises, to poor people for housing, students for education, and other low income groups and weaker sections. So that other people, lower sections or other various sectors like agriculture are not deprived of loans and all. Okay, so that is the why priority sector concept has been introduced, priority sector lending concept. So this is essentially meant for an all-round development of the economy as opposed to focusing only on the financial sector. So that is the importance of priority sector lending. So that's it for today. You can also download the PDF of this document in the link that is shared below, and do download the Topper IAS Institute app so that you get access to a number of these kind of videos which will be helping you in your UPSC preparation. Thank you.